Very good points to make. Ooh, that's so exciting. It's a very different style of draft that we're used to seeing. Like, it's so much different than any other map drafting for, just because, again, that power spike level 4 and the wave clear that's so important. Also need to make sure that you have one member of your team, assuming the map is played out relatively similarly to the last time we saw it, which is probably at least a month and a half ago. Perhaps, yeah, that might actually be true. But back then, it's usually a 4-1 split for the team, and they put heavy pressure in the lane that their golem pushes down, and you need to leave one member that is somewhat safe in terms of mobility. They can't get ganked or caught out of position, and they're also capable of throwing that wave clear back.
I don't know, Kubi. This game is going to be absolutely
it's going to be
incredible.
bonkers.
Tempo Storm, they're focused. They don't have any time for pre-gate shenanigans. This is game number 3 of this series, and the team that wins this will likely get first place in the ESL Major League.
They get that top seed going into the playoffs. Let's introduce the teams without further ado. On the blue team for Tempo Storm, we have Glaurung on Stitches, Dreadnought's going to be playing Rhaegar, Arthalon on Illidan, KO on Zagara, and Soldier's going to be playing ETC.
And on the other half of the map, it is, of course, going to be McIntyre playing as Kerrigan. His Kerrigan has always been well-renowned. Blinks on Tassadar. Trummel as that Vala Kionda playing Tyrande. And, of course, Urho on the Lord of Terror himself, Mr. Dibbles on his green money pig. That is BarrelBoys versus Tempo Storm, game number 3. The stakes are high.
Yes, it's tied 1-1 between these two powerhouses of teams. And already BarrelBoys taking an aggressive stance. They have captured both the watchtowers on this very, very tiny upper portion of the map. It gives them a lot of map vision. Wow. All right, let's talk about some of these talents. I see Demolitionist was grabbed for Zagara. A fun pick. Gives you that early lead, especially because we're expecting to see that aggressive stance taken.
It's very interesting to see what they're actually going to do with that, because it signals, no, they're not going to do anything because Kerrigan.
BarrelBoys, stop!
Secure
that
kill.
was silly.
Oh, did they turn it around? Oh, the shadow charge forward onto Soldier, but Soldier can still try to continue to apply this pressure, dashing forward with the stuns. I almost went into a song there, and ETC falls as well, so a quick 2-kill advantage.
Okay, BarrelBoys showing the dominance that they have in the early game. That first combo that was thrown down, the stuns were all timed perfectly. Loved it. Cool to see that very aggressive style. And we know that the teams are going to have like really in-your-face tactics, or just going to be playing something weird, and they're proving it right now. BarrelBoys is.
This is the kind of composition that works on different kind of maps. We see this on Mines, and with Tomb of the Spider Queen being around the corner, it's entirely possible there. We don't know a lot about it yet, but the Shadow Charge going forward, not quite catching Dreadnought. The hook comes out just reaching a minion, and this is going to be a very tense match, every moment of it.
Yeah, so we were talking about this potential 4-1 split, and it seems as though BarrelBoys is opting to take that defensive stance, trying to pick up a couple extra kills, and like I mentioned, it's all about that race to level 4, and BarrelBoys have found themselves in quite a bit of a lead. Arthalon is catching himself out of position. One more stun might secure the kill, and no, he actually ends up dodging the Primal Grasp, but the Lunar Flare is going to be enough to pick up the kill on Illidan.
A very nice start for them, but Urho is taking a lot of damage, that first healing ward being used. We talked about the lack of healing, but it has not been affecting, because you don't need heals if the enemy team is constantly stunned out. Rhaegar lost his life as well. They chased him there, and this is a massive opportunity for them to go and clear the mines. And remember, we talked about their potential to clear waves?
Yeah, they have it. They have it. Man, BarrelBoys look so fluid this early game. They have it mapped out. All the stuns, the combos are all there, and they look so polished and practiced. I loved seeing this kind of play.
And we see Tempo Storm has come into the top portion. They're going to get a few camps, but BarrelBoys definitely looking at the advantage. The two middle camps here have the most mines, and Arthalon is taking so much. Kionda moving forward, connecting with a Lunar Flare, and that is another kill. 5-0, but during that chase, they allowed Tempo Storm to pick up more seeds than I expected.
I was about to get critical of his positioning, but you're absolutely right about that. It's very possible that that was just a complete bait to just buy Tempo Storm a little bit more time to try and get a somewhat even golem. Even if they were to not get a single more skull, which they probably won't, 38 to 62, that's very manageable.
38-62, 68-32. They're the same thing. And the
Oh,
bruisers,
I swapped the sides, so excuse me. There. Okay, all right, still.
I gotta call you out on that.
No, of course,
that's what
of
we
course,
do.
of
That's
course.
what we do here. But Glaurung, Arthalon, KO, they are gonna grab the bruisers safely, and they can try to get an offensive pick. Actually, no, they can't do that. They cannot get offensive giants. It's way too risky. But looking at the levels, they're doing a decent job keeping up. By leaving the mines earlier, they were able to start to get that soak in those lanes. They've got the bruisers that will pressure the top lane, that will be handled relatively quickly. And do we see aggression on the giant camps?
Doesn't look to be the case. Yeah, we have seen that in the past, and that has been a very
There's still time.
established.
Teams will wait. Teams will wait to
will.
cap the giants.
It's very true.
They're going to wait. Yeah, see, they finish the giants, and they wait.
Previously, it has been done with a stealth hero, no Zeratul or Nova in this game, so the potential for that is a bit less. BarrelBoys looks as though they want to apply the pressure, and they've certainly earned it. They have the 68 skull advantage. Let's see how Tempo Storm decides to defend this.
So the giant camps do get picked up just as the golem does pass that marker. This is to put them in the absolute optimal position in terms of safety while they siege up onto that golem. They will arrive just a few moments after. And look at this. Arthalon opting to push forward. They want to catch up in levels.
And Tempo Storm needs to be very careful in this top lane.
Kerrigan with the Primal Grass pulling those
makes a lot of
giants in
sense.
to eliminate them. Such good utility. And the Shadow Charge forward onto KO. The Hunter's Mark comes out, and he's going to get slain. They're making this look easy versus Tempo Storm of all teams.
This golem is going to get a huge amount of utility, and look at this bottom fort. It has barely taken any damage.
Yeah, they're trying, but it's just
We talked about how important taking that first set of team fights is, going into the first set of mines, and this is why. Look at how much of a momentum shift, or not even a shift, just how much momentum BarrelBoys has built up to this point. Their golem is just below half HP. This is going to put a sizable dent into
my goodness.
the keep.
He's just going to keep slapping away. The Slapmaster 2015 moving forward.
He's a
and
champ.
He has found his target. His target happens to be a house, but that's what the Slapmaster does. He smacks houses, even if it has birds on top.
There's also a mule available for BarrelBoys.
Oh, no.
They weren't able to keep that final tower alive. Still, they got the fort.
Everything about their composition is tuned perfectly for this map.
Right.
And now they're applying pressure to this bottom fort? Oh, Kubi.
Okay, what does Tempo Storm need to do to find themselves back in this game? They are down levels, and I think that's the first step they need to do is safely soak until they can get those heroics.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
What heroics are we going to see that will have an impact in those fights?
They need the Maw Dance. They need it. They need it bad. It can bring them back into this game, but for BarrelBoys to actually fall into a massive Maw, A, is unlikely. B, it's such a one-trick pony. And look at this. Apocalypse potentially deny that from happening.
Yeah, and summon Ultralisk.
Oh, no. Talk about push power. If they want to go to a base race and you summon that Ultralisk, he just rips through buildings. And what are they doing? They're backdooring.
They can.
The Hearth is happening.
It's not gonna be a complete. They're just looking to get this keep, and McIntyre ends up getting hooked.
But he uses that.
Yeah, he is able to throw it down onto the roof. Or the totem.
Nice positioning by ETC, but Diablo flips him out, and the essential healing is just off rail. That's game. That's
the Maw, though. Hold it.
What's the?
Are they going to be able to hold them off long enough? They're not going to turn this teamfight around by any means. But
the Maw stalls the game out.
It does.
It's Arthalon.
Not if Arthalon gets caught, though. This is okay. That may change things. Taking this keep is very, very important, and it'll set them up very nicely going into the mines for the second go-around, which should be spawning somewhat soon.
Yeah, nice Lunar Flare to stall them out. Like you mentioned, the mines are coming. Killing Urho now is nice, but he does have those 100 skulls, so it doesn't really matter. He's going to be back alive just like that, cackling away like a Lord of Terror would. We see that Valo is able to hearth out in the bush, and KO gonna get hooked on in, but or Kyonda, excuse me.
The stun, actually, from McIntyre, well placed, hitting 3 members of Tempo Storm, should keep Kyondo alive. Yes, he is going to have time to hearth. Still, a positional advantage now has been found for Tempo Storms, and they should could be able to get a sizable amount of skulls. Not taking a lead immediately, but having these auxiliary camps and then taking themselves even a somewhat favorable fight will get them a massive golem moving forward.
I mean, Glowering has to be careful here. They do have the 50 skulls already. So like you mentioned, really, really nicely done by them going into the mine, splitting up, and getting as many as possible. The dash forward and the dance will connect with 2. Rain of Vengeance to stall that out and help pace. This time will end up connecting, and at that point they have to turn around. Glowering is so very low, but Tempo Storm can bully them out.
This is true, but even they have to be so careful. Any time spent taking this golem boss, it could be time that is spent backdooring. They have to be very, very careful about their positioning, paying attention to where BarrelBoys are on the map. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. They're actually going to try and contest this golem boss.
Yeah, and Dread will be caught. Oh no, he doesn't get hit by the Lunar Flare that time. The boss stopped, not connecting with anyone, but look how low Glowering is. He has the hook. Arthalon doing the damage, but falling in the process.
The trade going out. Soldier ends up finding himself on the wrong side of BarrelBoys' CCs, and this is going to pick up quite a few skulls for BarrelBoys, not quite evening it out. Tempo Storm still finds himself with a 61-38 advantage. There's still that one skull missing. How intentional this is, I imagine it is in BarrelBoys' best interest to pick this up as soon as possible, and yes, we can see the Blinks is moving over to capture that.
That's actually really nice because this gives Tempo Storm time to push this lane out. They can remove these catapults that are an immediate threat, that are annoying, and they can just wait and posture to defend this boss, because even though it's only a 39 skull boss, they must destroy it before it gets through the keep shields, or the core shields.
What's the play from BarrelBoys? Do they just get immediately aggressive? Do they take these bruiser camps? And it looks like they are going to move forward.
If you can fight under a golem when you have all these stuns already,
it's going to be aggressive, but the question is how aggressive. Do they? If they wanted to stop to try to apply a little bit of split pressure, it depends on how confident they're feeling moving forward. And
I like this a lot, and the hook there onto Diablo. Is it enough? Do they have the burst? No, Lunar Flare there to zone. Still putting that threat in.
Right, there is no APOC available. There's quite a few heroics that are still on cooldown for BarrelBoys. They have to be careful which initiations they choose. An Arrow might find himself a little bit zoned out. The boss!
My goodness, the dance! No! No! The dance was used early and the boss stomped it out! Tragic situation, but Tempo Storm might be able to take this no matter what. They're pushing forward. The Moss set up such a massive play. It's 2 for 1 in favor of Tempo Storm, and they're pushing forward. That boss is very small in comparison, and they don't have to worry too much about it. Trummel will end up falling to Arthalon, the final member. That's the Tassadar. And what is this boss doing? He's got a ton of health left. They can just push on in with it.
Wow, there's a time to chase, and it is now for sure. They need to continue picking up these kills to try and chain together any amount of momentum they can to get to catch up back in this game. But you're right, you mentioned how much health this boss has. If they try to muster up and rally here, they can try to take this keep out before some of these members of BarrelBoys get back. But remember, it is still early in the game. The death timers are fairly low. Only 10 seconds before the entirety of BarrelBoys are back up. It looks as though they will just try to apply some pressure. It's down to half health. They might be able to pull this off.
Yeah, they should be able to get this keep. The shielding Tassadar will help quite a bit, but they do have all 5 members here at this point. Stitch is now just arriving. He's going to look for that hook. Tassadar is the one in the front, so that's not really what he wants to go for. He wants that Tyrande, he wants that Kerrigan, but they are well aware that's what they're looking for. The boss will fall, but they need to take
this is big. This is big. There's a mule. They cannot let this live.
Oh no, that Putrid Bile nicely placed by Glowering, and there's the Metamorphosis going in. It looks like Trummel is the primary target, but with the Hunter's Mark, Arthalon is double thinking it.
Oh my gosh, okay, and then APOC is thrown down for BarrelBoys. Is it going to be enough to secure the Ancestral Healing is good onto Soldier, and he is able to stay alive. McIntyre diving forward is going to get the poison damage on Glowering. That is enough, and Venom being able to pick up the kill. We're down to a 4v4 between both teams. This is a big team fight. If Tempo Storm is able to clean this up, they will be able to win the game. And it looks as though they are going to back up. Trummel still low. KO very low, out of mana. All these teams have so few resources left to pick these fights. The best part about this is, moving forward, the next fight for the mines, both teams are going to be at level 16, and whoever takes the big advantage there wins the game.
Pretty much. And there's so many small, little things that could have changed so much there. The Vala vaulted the second Earthgrass Totem hitter, so she got the animation, and then the slow continued after passing through. Yep. If that was any later, Vala probably would have died. It's just so many minute things that could have changed in those battles, and I'm absolutely loving this game on mine. So aggressive.
Yes, very exciting. Blood for blood pickups on BarrelBoys are going to be a big deal. There is 2 warriors available for them to leech that huge amount of HP pool off of Second Strike and Shrink Ray. That's very interesting. That's just for a lot of damage output, but he doesn't remember he picked up Mule. It doesn't have the crit availability on his Psystorm. Also the imposing presence on Diablo.
Availability. That is probably my favorite misspeak.
Availability.
I love
Availability.
it. Now, Pierce is also another thing to look at here because we have the Pierce and we have the Ranger picked up. That increases a lot of damage potential. And BarrelBoys, they were looking for a potential collapse, but they have since dispersed, and now Tempo Storm is entering the mines. Diablo is the one in the back. They've stalled him out a little while, and they can turn around
Look
on
at
him.
this split from BarrelBoys.
They want to collect.
Tempo Storm getting aggressive.
I like it. I think they have to. They know that Diablo is in the back, and they're moving on forward. Again, got to look for those incredibly clutch Maws.
The Ultralisk is quite low in HP, and the Metamorphosis goes in. Where's the APOC? There it is.
That's the Maw. APOC was used, and so was the Rain of Vengeance. So where's the dance? There it is. No, not quite.
Wow, look at this. A convincing team fight for Tempo Storm. If they manage to clean this up as a 5 is almost an ace. Is Trumbull going to be able to get out? Still, that's a massive amount. They can pick up 100 Skull Golem and get themselves a win here.
This dance back and forth. They're juking me. They're juking each other.
It's strictly a stall tactic, but I think the teams know at this point defending a 100 Skull Golem that is pressing down onto the core is all but a sealed deal. Wow, what a fight, what a game, what a series!
I'm actually kind of speechless because Tempo Storm made the right decision. I mean, look at the kills. It was 9 to 15 going into the mines, and now we're looking at it 14 to 15. They managed to pick up all 5 kills, losing 0 members in a very convincing fashion. Incredibly strong start out of BarrelBoys, just dominating the early game, but they brought it back. Level 16 proved to be, I mean, even 13 proved to be their time to turn it around.
Is there any chance for BarrelBoys?
They have to backdoor.
Yeah,
that's their only
I
option.
think Tempo Storm is very well aware of this.
Oh my goodness, this could be the signal of a turnaround. Glaurung will lose his life, and this puts Tempo Storm on the back foot, but
BarrelBoys has to go. They have to go now.
It's a stall tactic. They have to stall as long as possible. Maw's cooldown, it will be available. They do have that Putrid Bile to try to slow them down, but Dreadnought getting caught out. This is awful.
Uses the Ancestral Healing somewhat early. The stuns are going to be there. The Envenoms. Is it going to be enough? The Hunter's Mark. It's going to be able to pick up a kill. The Maw, just used strictly, as you said, to stall. But is it going to be able to get there in time? Yes, the 100 Skull Golem will kill the core, but can they do it fast enough?
I don't think so. Losing those 2 heroes is proving to be tragic.
Wow.
Only Soldier and KO remain, and Soldier is falling very quickly. The shields have just now dissipated, and KO
This is going to be so close. I cannot believe
BarrelBoys has done it, I think.
The health of the core is so close. 49, 50%. Down to 30% for, oh my gosh.
Oh my god! BarrelBoys does it!
What? I counted them completely out at that point. I can't believe it. Glaurung moves too far forward, and I don't blame them. Honestly, you're looking at the situation like, how can we lose at this point? All they had to do was stall, and BarrelBoys played it so perfectly. Every single stun they threw down, they just piece by piece, they picked up targets and just eliminated them immediately. The Hunter's Marks, the Venom, everything was chained together flawlessly. Wow, just wow. I think everyone watching the stream just immediately assumed Tempo Storm has this game in the bag. What a comeback.
I mean, the idea was to just stall them out. And the speed at which